hello. So nice to see everybody. Raul, thank you for becoming a member. Welcome back. Let's see here. Saying hi to everybody who just joined. I saw someone gifted some Dancing Dog 60. So generous. Yet again, 5 memberships. And I'm glad you're seeing Quantumania tonight, Junior 6288. I have filmed my spoiler review, and I will be editing it after today. Hey, Daniel, thanks for joining. So we have some great stories for today. What a live. Yeah, this is a new shirt. I debuted it for Quantumania. And I also will be doing, of course, my stuff about the end credit sequences tomorrow. So lots of coverage coming up. Hey, Nate, welcome back. Hey, Moro, so nice to see everybody. It's a very busy end of the week. That's right, Juan, this is from Xian. Hey, all things Malik. So nice to see everyone. Hey, Gavin. Just a reminder, as always, please try to keep your comments during the stream to the story at hand, or I might not answer them, even if they are a super chat. But then, of course, at the very end of the video, there'll be a Q&A section for at least 10 minutes where you can ask me anything that you would like. And I'm going to alternate between super chats, but also regular members. You know, I want to make sure that regular members get some attention as well. Also, I want to give a little bit of a shout out to poor Bruce Willis. Very sad news today that his dementia is progressing rapidly and he has lost the ability to communicate. That's very sad. I'm glad he has such a wonderful support system. And I'm glad that he is bringing awareness to this very real problem. But it's very sad. Very, very, very sad. Hey, Trisha, I'm glad. That's a very sad story, but I'm glad these streams overall cheer you up. Hey, Ronnie. All right, so let's dive in. I've got some tea for you. Here we go. Hold on. All right, so let's get started. Boop, and I fixed it. It now covers it correctly. All right, so here's some tea. How to Train Your Dragon live action is coming, and I found out that not only was it announced that they're already casting, but I found out that they're looking for Hiccup for an actor not only in their late teens, so they are starting out, maybe not as young as Hiccup is in the first movie, so they're going for someone in their late teens, and it's open to any ethnicity. So Hiccup could be, they're going to go with the most personable actor that they can find. So I think that's very interesting. I'll be curious to see who they end up going with. And if they have a similar vibe to Jay Baruchel, who, of course, voiced the character. Everybody wants Joe Locke. He's already Wiccan. He can't be everybody. So let's see here. Hey, 80s model, thank you for gifting 10 memberships. That's quite kind of you. Justin, that's a Marvel question. You got to wait till the Marvel section. But I am excited about Blade as well. So that's very exciting. So let's talk about How to Train Your Dragon live action. All right, so surprise! It's already dated. They've already dated the movie for March 14th, 2025. We're going to talk about how that lines up with House of the Dragon Season 2. But Universal has already set this up. They're casting. They're already casting. And as I just said, they're going for an actor in their late teens, and they're open to any ethnicity. Dean DeBlois, who co-directed the first film, but it took over the franchise from there, is back and will be continuing to write, direct, and produce. This is his first live-action film. That's a major upgrade for him. That's huge. He, of course, did the first one with Chris Sanders. Poor Chris Sanders, always so close to greatness. Chris Sanders is like, why am I always a step away? Chris Sanders, I met him once at Comic-Con. He had his own booth, and nobody was there. I went over and said hi, and I was like, why is no one talking to Chris Sanders? The man's a genius. But he's really great. Hey, Alex. So also, Dean DeBlois, for those of you who aren't aware, is openly LGBT. Dean DeBlois is. And I think that, he, of course, made Gobber an LGBT character, the peg leg pirate voiced by Craig Ferguson. Hey, fellow Grace. And I wonder if there will be LGBT characters in this live action movie. Of course, Disney has run into some trouble there, but I think we can all agree that Disney has not done a very good job with a lot of the characters. And so I hope that Hollywood keeps trying, and I hope that Dean DeBlois does that with Gobber. And I'll be curious to see who they cast in that role. He, of course, is a mentor. He's comedic relief, but he's also a mentor to Hiccup. Now, I agree, Harlequin Dove. What's going on with the dragons? That's what everybody wants to know. Now, of course, the big pitch of this is that Universal is like, we can do live action adaptations of our animated movies as well, right? So that's what they're doing, just like Disney, of course, has done. All 3 movies there from Disney are billion-dollar pictures. So I think that Universal's like, hey man, why don't we do it? So, this to me also reminds me of Percy Jackson, which Disney is doing for Disney Plus. So I think that there are some elements there. But you know what I also think, as some people are already saying, I bet they watched the season finale of House of the Dragon and were like, we could do that. We could do that PG-13, which would mean we would make even more money. Hey, Gian, I like your logo there. That, to me, is where I think the real money is. As Lucerys, Aemond versus Lucerys. I wanted to include a picture of them, but the dragons are so big in House of the Dragon that you can't really get a very good shot of somebody riding a dragon. So How to Train Your Dragon is going to have like more compact race car dragons, and they'll be able to get them in the full shot. So I'd still want a cuteness for oh my God, I'm drawing toothless. Okay, thank God I got that before you guys caught up to me. It would be so embarrassing. So yeah, I still want a cute factor for Toothless, but I also want, Toothless can get pretty tough. And remember, Toothless spits blue energy, so I'm pretty excited about that in live action. So I think, yeah, Marco, I know Marco. I love Toothless, but I want him to look pretty tough too. So I want to have both of that. If they could find the sweet spot between Disney live action, I don't want it to be like Percy Jackson. Let's see how Percy Jackson turns out. I feel Percy Jackson's going to skew too young. I don't think Percy Jackson's going to blow up quite the way people think it will. Let's see. But if we could go somewhere between the Disney live action and House of the Dragon, this could make a lot of money. I think the action sequences in How to Train Your Dragon, the animated movies, are actually pretty good. So maybe, Dean DeBlois could deliver those action sequences. Oh, I'm excited. And don't forget, Universal is all in on How to Train Your Dragon. That Texas theme park that they're building? They're going to put a How to Train Your Dragon space in there, for the younger families. Oh, thank you, John. Thank you for clarifying how to pronounce your name. I said I just joined so I could say the release of this movie lines up with the opening of that's right, Universal's new park in Orlando. That's right, thank you, John. Also, Epic Universe, not just the Texas park. Hey, Javier, welcome back. That's great. That's a perfect comment, John. I think you're right. So this is very, very clever. Oh, I love this. This is so exciting. What else could Universal do? They have a lot of strong properties with Illumination. And also, DreamWorks, obviously. Heather says, Grace, think of it like riding horses. Quarter horses are quick and can turn on a dime. Oh, Heather, that's brilliant. Thoroughbreds are like House of the dragons. So you're saying like quarter horses. That could be very interesting. I think this is going to be really great. I think this is like a very good idea. I'm surprised how long this took them to do it. So I do worry that Dean DeBlois might try and be a little bit funnier and bring back the 2010 cast in supporting roles like Jay Baruchel, Gerard Butler, Craig Ferguson, America Ferrera, Jonah Hill, Christoph Mintz-Plasse, Kristen Wiig, maybe TJ Miller, although TJ Miller's kind of been canceled, but I'm like, don't do that. Do this a little bit more serious, please. I think that would be very, very important. Chris says, How to Train Your Dragon is a beloved series, so if they don't get it right, it can bomb. I really feel like this is unmessable, quite frankly. And then Steven says the animated ones got more adult with each sequel. Totally true. Oh, definitely. Hey, Mariah fan. I love Mariah Carey too, if that's who you're talking about. But I think this is great. You guys want a poll? Okay, I'll do a poll. I know what to do for a poll. Hold on. I'll do a poll. Okay. We'll do what should the tone be for How to Train Your Dragon live action? All right, hold on. Family friendly. Ooh. I don't want to influence the poll. All right, family friendly. Then we'll do PG-13, but more House of the Dragon. And then we'll do I don't want this. I don't want this at all. I think those are the two options. Okay, those are the three options. Okay, let's see. Okay, if they go like PG-13 House of the Dragon, oh, it's going to make so much money. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. Now let's talk about, while you guys vote in that poll, let's talk about how sucky this is for House of the Dragon. So House of the Dragon, it was just recently announced that they have delayed the shooting of season 2. Darn it. So they're actually not going to start filming until April, and they'll be filming April through December, which means this thing won't come out until mid-2024. What? And that's when How to Train Your Dragon for March 2025 will already be releasing first looks and maybe even a teaser trailer. So that sucks. That like really sucks. Trisha says, I think if Percy Jackson blows up, it's going to hurt it. You think it's going to hurt House of the Dragon? I mean, this thing? Hey, Kevin. Let's see here. But House of the Dragon is so delayed that it's still going to run up against this, basically. I mean, it really sucks that they have a kind of a delay for House of the Dragon. Let's see. Danny feels very passionately about this, though. Steven, Rings of Power does have a season 2 because they already greenlit it, although I haven't heard anything about it. But I think they're still moving ahead with that, but I don't know. Mad Queen Danny, why does this upset you? I'm sorry. That's funny. But this is a great idea. I'm very curious to see what the dragons look like. I think that Toothless is easier to adapt than live action Stitch. Both Chris Sanders properties, by the way, and very similar. Danny says, what about Anya Taylor-Joy? That's not a bad idea, but I think she's a little bit older for what they seem to be going for. They seem to be going for late teens. As I said, that's what the casting range is right now. But this sounds very exciting. This sounds great. I think Universal has a real slam dunk here. And I think that it's brilliant. It's, again, you got to keep an eye on Universal. They always come out of nowhere. You're just paying attention to Warner Brothers versus Disney, and all of a sudden Universal's like, hello, as they sail right past you. As told by Alex says, also How to Train Your Dragon. So you're also bringing up the Epic Universe situation, which is opening at the same time. Very exciting. All right, so let's end the poll. Hold on, here it comes. All right, so 61% of you wanted to be PG-13, but more House of the Dragon. 20% of you, that's surprising, don't want them to do this. That's surprising. Maybe, I don't know if you're How to Train Your Dragon fans or you're worried about House of the Dragon. And then 17% of you would like it to go family friendly. So that's interesting. I think a lot of you aren't sold on this, but I think that makes sense considering, I think live action adaptations have a real love-hate situation, even with what's coming out of Disney. So let's see how this turns out. All right, so let's go to that's the first story of the day. The second story of the day, hold on, all right, boop, let's talk about massive Marvel delays. Massive. Hey, Levi, it's massive. All right, so I have an image here for us. Hold on, there it is. Okay, so I'll get rid of this story so you can see the image. So these are some of the upcoming Disney Plus shows. So just last week, during the investor call, the investor update, Bob Iger said, whoa, this stuff's expensive, right? He's like, it's expensive to have a streaming service. So he's like, we're going to pull back because we would like to get more bang for our buck. And he feels we're just flushing money down the toilet. And Feige, just the other day, already confirmed that they are going to slow down. But this means that stuff that we've been promised is being put out ridiculously far. I feel like they should just get rid of Echo, to be honest with you. I wouldn't release Echo because I think that show is going to get so much pain from fans being like, why do we have to sit through this? Oh, Mariah, you gifted 1 membership to Disney Dolls and Dreams. That's great. But yeah, it's like, why do we have to have this stuff delayed? So this is what was revealed today, all right? Thank you, Alex. That's very generous of you. Thank you, Alex. And that's a really cute sticker that you chose. So it seems that this year on Disney Plus, we are probably only going to get Loki season 2 and Secret Invasion. That's it. That's it. Just those two. That's shocking to me. Absolutely shocking that we're only going to get those two shows. And that means that both Echo and Ironheart will be delayed till 2024. Hey, Grayson. Thanks for joining. And so what does that mean about Agatha Coven of Chaos? And how about Daredevil? When the heck is Daredevil ever going to come out? I mean, that's just nuts. And I heard that Nova, Victoria also gifted one membership. Whatever you can gift is quite kind. Hey, KJ, you echo my feelings on Echo? That's funny. But yeah, so Nova, I heard, is definitely delayed. Nova's delayed. It's definitely a series, and like, who knows when the heck we're going to get it. It's just so far away. And I think that this is ridiculous that, we have to wait so long for these projects. But I mean, like, this is the struggle. The struggle is real for Kevin Feige. We're like, don't put too much in one project, but how long do we have to wait for what we wanted? I think it's really sucky. I hope Ironheart is a good show. But I mean, like, I think people are much more interested in, I think Kevin Feige should let us vote. Speaking of polls, I think Kevin Feige should let us vote for what we would like to see first. Oh, hey, Margot, welcome back. As I've said before, I like your name. But yeah, it's like, please, like, back burner, Echo, and, I don't know. I mean, Ironheart has some really cool stuff in it, but we really want Agatha and Daredevil. So I think this is really tough. Mr. F says these delays are sad. Slow down if you want, but don't take away things you promised. I think that's true, especially things that are just sitting in the can and are ready to go out. And also, I feel with Marvel, it just gives them more time to maybe muck around with them. You're like, don't touch it. Don't touch it. So Steven says, why don't you condense Echo and Born Again? That's right. But Daredevil's already 18 episodes. And Chris says, I think Marvel got greedy with the success of Infinity Saga, and now with some flops, they have to backtrack and reevaluate. I'm not sure. Let's see. Although Anna really wants the Echo representation, and Trisha says, I'd rather they fix mistakes and have good CGI. Thanks, Levistus. That's very nice of you. Hello to you, too. All right, so also the other thing I want to talk about is they mentioned in this coverage in the trades about Star Wars. Like, what's going on with Star Wars scheduling? They have too little. We need just right. There's too much Marvel and not enough Star Wars. Well, they said that there will probably be a new movie announcement at Star Wars Celebration in London in April, Star Wars Celebration Europe, so that's exciting. I wonder what it'll be and who's attached. Then also they said for Disney Plus this year for Star Wars, we're of course getting Mando Season 3 March 1st, but also probably Ahsoka and Skeleton Crew. And they said that Disney Plus, I guess, isn't going to be so worried about churn because they have the Vault, the Disney Vault, and they feel, you'll just come back if you leave, right? So, and also they can alternate between Marvel and Star Wars. Last year, they had some Marvel and Star Wars stuff going at the same time, and it was nuts. You were like She-Hulk and Andor were both dropping on Disney Plus or something like that, at the same, I think, what was it, She-Hulk or Ms. Marvel and Obi-Wan? We were like, this is nuts. There should be one major Disney Plus show on Wednesdays and that's it. I think it was Obi-Wan and Ms. Marvel. It was bad. I remember covering that. It was really hard. You had to decide what to cover first, and let me tell you, it was usually Obi-Wan because Ms. Marvel just wasn't hitting. For other reasons, but going up against Obi-Wan didn't help. But also, you saw almost no Disney Plus shows on the best lists of the year, best shows of the year lists, and they did very poorly in award season. Andor got some love, but no one watched Andor. So they really need a show that pops, like Netflix and even HBO Max has that type of show, where everyone's talking about it and everyone loves it. So that's really important. Steven says when something's filmed like a movie and just sits unreleased, doesn't that gain interest from any money borrowed to... No, they don't borrow, they don't borrow per project. The studio does. You don't have to worry about that. And then Juan says, do you think Echo is that bad and they're scared to put it out? No, I think they just feel like Echo's not going to pop. It's not going to do for them what they need. They can't follow up She-Hulk and Ms. Marvel with Echo. I think it's just more problems. Nicholas gifted some more memberships. That's so kind. Let's see here. Mad Queen Danny, you are mad. Loki wasn't a snooze. Loki's incredible. That's nuts. That's craziness. I don't agree with that at all. So let's see here. Grace says, Grace, is this going to mess with the timeline in the Marvel's overarching story? No, because, none of these shows are going with that. They should have just done Secret Invasion, by the way, instead of the multiverse. They should have done Secret Invasion for the next big Avengers thing. The Secret Invasion show should have led into a movie. Mistake, but oh well. It just didn't work out. But yeah, so I feel so let me ask you, okay? I'll do another poll, okay? Do you want your Marvel stuff now? So we'll go yes. Then we'll go I'll wait if it benefits the MCU. And then it'll be like a lot of these shows. No, we'll just do yes, and I'll wait if it benefits the MCU. Okay, is that gonna... oh no, I have to write something if I did it. Okay, no, we'll just try again. Poll, start a poll. How do you feel about MCU Disney Plus delays? Give it to me now. Give it to me now. And then I'll wait if it's for the better good. All right, there we go. Why can't I send this out? Oh, it's too long. I'll wait for the better good. There you go. Okay, there's the poll. Let's see here. Yeah, a lot of us want Agatha. Dancing Dog 60, they're not even, I think you're right. The Wakanda Disney Plus series, a lot of the shows that haven't filmed, who knows what's going to happen to them because it's just so long. Andrew, you didn't like Loki either? You guys are crazy. Alex, what if season 2 isn't even being discussed for when it's going to come out? What about that zombie animated show? Like, who knows? Like, there was just so much stuff that we were promised. Trisha, let's see if Percy Jackson hits the right tone. I'll be curious to see. None of the other Disney non-Marvel or Star Wars shows have hit. Look at Danny and Cosmix right next to each other. Loki was awful versus Loki was incredible. That's hilarious. Bye, Matt Tudor. All right. Eric said, but Grace, you yourself said 2 streams and 2 movies per year. I did, but I want what I've been promised. Hey, Big League Chew. Having to wait so long for this stuff is, I think, very frustrating. Maybe Marvel, that's an interesting point. Maybe Marvel is suffering from its own fractured fandom, just like DC has done. Like some people are in the Wanda camp and some people are in the Wakanda camp, and they're like, I want what I want. It will be okay, says, I think they need the OG Avengers to pull off Secret Invasion. But they killed all of them or got rid of them somehow. So it's really tough. It's a very tough situation. I like all of it. It's really hard, I think, that's what happens when you overpromise. I think that Kevin Feige, he put himself in a corner. Josh says, do you think moving the Marvel shows back to Friday, like when they started with WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Loki, seemed like they got more buzz on Fridays? But the problem was that they really competed with movies. I think maybe Thursday. Boy, HBO really has a great deal with Sundays, don't they? Sunday. That was great that they locked that down. Man, I think the 3 a.m. thing, by the way, does not work. I know that some of you overseas are like, oh yeah, but I think that as far as getting like the conversation going, it creates a lot of spoilers because people are on Twitter all day long. And so it's hard to not be on Twitter all day Wednesday until you can watch it in the evening. So I personally don't think it's a good idea. I think HBO 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sundays is the best. And so I think maybe remember Thursday night TV used to be a big thing. If I were Disney Plus, I would lock down Thursdays at maybe 8 because it's a lot of family viewing at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. That's a little bit like what Prime Video does. Prime Video drops their stuff then. Alexander Wilson says, on the earnings call, Iger said that their movies like Wakanda Forever are actually big subscriber drivers. That's right. So movies can help get viewership too. That's a great point. Hey, Roku. see. Mike says, I think we're too greedy as an audience. I want it right now, of course, but it does take some time for the magic. Well, yeah, but I guess let's do that after that. Bubble says, I hope for quality over quantity. I think we all do. Oh, thanks, Brian. What is that, like a super avocado? I love it. Kevin says, Marvel should focus on popular characters first instead of all new ones at once. Wanda solo movie would be an instant box office success. I agree. Anonymous Baddie, that name with your picture is a great combo. And Joseph says, I always want X-Men done properly. Yeah, when are we getting the X-Men? Like in 10 years? Oh, Boab, I'm glad you guys enjoyed Quantumania. That's awesome. All right, let's move on to the next story. I have a few more. Okay. Let's see here. Tiff Lockhart. Oh, Tiff! Tiff with the win. Tiff says maybe I don't know about the binge model, though. I got to tell you, no one talks about Netflix shows the way they talk about HBO Max and Disney Plus shows, or Prime Video with The Boys, which switched over to weekly. I think they should stick to the weekly, I'm afraid. I think that you just don't get the same bang for your buck with dropping it. Netflix, they have to stick to that because they unfortunately put themselves in that position. But I think imagine the Stranger Things as a weekly. That would be, I think, really amazing. So it's, I still think Netflix should maybe consider, switching to that for some shows. But I wouldn't go to the binge, even though it would allow us to get more. For some of these they should, like Echo, they should drop them all as a binge. And maybe that would be like a better situation. Iready says the Loki series is incredible and a great source for reaction gifts. It's excellent. And Whelm says, was Kevin Feige forced to create MCU streaming services? If so, by whom? Well, he's a team player, and of course he has to do it. All right, let me end the poll, and then I'm going to move on to the next story, okay? Hold on. 75% of you are willing to wait. That's great. That's very good. You're very mature. Good for you. Good for you. All right, so that's the second story of the day. Fascinating, right? All right, so the third story of the day, and then we will get to the Q&A where you can ask me anything, and I'll be able to answer more of your super chats. All right, hey, Max. All right, so hold on. Let me get rid of this image. All right, story number 3. Boom, baby. Zoe Saldana, of course, is the star of soon to be the top 3 performing movies of all time, Avatar 1, Avengers Endgame, and Avatar 2. That is amazing. But can she get anything for herself where she is the star and she's not painted a different color? She has done so well in other movies. She starred in a couple of films, but they haven't worked out so well. But she's reteaming with the Russo brothers, who did a great job handling Gamora and Nebula in their movies. Better than, I think, the Guardians of the Galaxy films, quite frankly. Although I have high hopes for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And James Gunn did a great job with Mantis in the holiday special. So I feel like maybe, Gamora will finally get a good run in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Oh, that's right. As Mr. F pointed out, she was also in Star Trek, although she didn't get a lot to do there, even though she did do a nice job. All right, so Zoe Saldana has teamed up with the Russo brothers in their Agbo Productions. They sure work that Marvel Rolodex, don't they? Although they burned Tom Holland with Cherry big time. That movie was awful, as Patrick G just mentioned. Chris Evans, the Gray Man did very well, but it was a clunker. And I think the best person to do well with the Russo brothers post-Marvel is, of course, Chris Hemsworth with Extraction, which was excellent, and I'm very excited for Extraction 2. But anyway, this is the movie that was just sold. There's a movie market going on right now in Europe. And they package films, and they try and get overseas distribution, which will raise a budget so they can make the film and then maybe get a U.S. distributor. That's the way it works. That's one way to get a movie made in Hollywood. So they've been going and pitching The Bluff, which actually was picked up by Prime Video. So it looks like this might go directly to Prime Video, although sometimes Amazon's able to put movies in theaters. And this sounds not bad to me, quite frankly. It's low budget, though. I think it was a $20 million buy, so that means it is a cheap movie. Hey, Michael. But I think that this is a pretty good setup. So it's called The Bluff. And it takes place, it's basically a Liam Neeson movie, right? But with Zoe Saldana as the lead. And we're seeing a lot of actors make these movies these days. Don't underestimate me when it comes to having to protect my family. That's the setup. But here's where it gets a little interesting. This is set in the 19th century Caribbean, which I like very much, especially for Zoe Saldana. And it's very ironic. We'll talk about Pirates of the Caribbean in a minute. And she is a former female pirate who must protect her family when her past comes back to haunt her. So it's a little bit like The Long Kiss Goodnight with Geena Davis, who starred herself in a pirate movie, which was awful. It was a very bad movie. But Geena Davis was amazing in The Long Kiss Goodnight. All right, so yeah, this story is super, this is not anything new. But I think that the 19th century Caribbean setting is very nice. Now, the fact that she's no longer a pirate means she doesn't have a ship anymore. So that really brings down the budget. They don't have to go to sea. It's going to all take place on land, like at a port city, I'm sure. But if it can be very atmospheric and very Pirates of the Caribbean, I think that sounds pretty cool. Now, as some of you were pointing out, Zoe Saldana actually had a small role in the very first Pirates of the Caribbean movie. And she had an awful time. In fact, she said it made her almost quit being in a Hollywood film. And I'll tell you why. Which she said that it was very elitist and there was a lot of above and below the line, and she didn't like how she was treated. Because at that time, it was very early on in her career, and nobody knew who Zoe Saldana was. She was like, her role was so small that she was like one step above an extra. And let me just tell you that it's really awful to be an extra in Hollywood. It is, and I don't think they should treat extras the way that they do. It's really horrible. And by the way, you can never really be an actor if you're an extra. Don't be an extra if you want to be an actor. Because, some people feel it's a way to get a backdoor entry into SAG, but then people will say, casting directors will say, oh, how did you get into SAG? And you'll have to say, I was an extra. And then they'll say, oh, and they're not going to want you to be an actor. So, extra work is pretty grueling. And it's a lot of people are professional extras, because you can get a pretty good paycheck that way. So the problem with being an extra is that they will actually hold you in pens because they don't want you to talk to anybody else. Everybody doesn't want to, because, unfortunately, some people do feel that being an extra is a ticket into Hollywood. And so, because they think that, they don't know the business very well. Hey, Bumblebee, thanks for gifting those memberships. And it's like really rough. So that nobody wants to talk to you. You have to be in a pen. So you can't leave. It's really bad. And then also they have even different food trucks for you. And you often have to wait until everybody else is eaten, including the crew. So they feed, usually there's a hierarchy on sets. So I wish they would just hire multiple food trucks. But on small productions, what they'll do, and also big productions that aren't nice, they will feed the cast first, then they'll feed the crew, and then they feed the extras last. And it's really bad. It's really bad. So I think that Zoe Saldana was surprised that that's what it was like. Because in a big Hollywood production with tons of extras, that's what they do. So it's kind of horrible, and they shouldn't do that to anybody. I mean, you saw the tragedy of Rust. Sets are pretty bad. They're really mean to people, and it's a very difficult situation. And they shouldn't do it, but unfortunately they do. So I think people, I feel very bad for Zoe Saldana that she had that experience. And she said she almost wanted to not be in Hollywood. And she eventually went back to franchise work, but she, of course, was above the line at that point. And she had her own, but I'm sure she's very kind to the extras and the below the line actors. So it's interesting, and it's very rarely talked about. But it just goes to show you what it's like. So I hope that this works out for her. It sounds like a very good movie, and I think it's interesting that she quit the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise and refused to come back, and now she's making her own Pirates movie. Good for her. Good for her. So. Very cool. All right, so that was the third story of the day. All right, time for the Q&A section. Let me close my note there. Hold on, I got the graphic. Hold on. Boom, Q&A time, baby. All right, so Q&A time. You can ask me anything you want for 10 minutes. It is 4:39. We'll just call it 4:40. So you can ask me anything till about 4:50. Leroy says, is the Echo series just Marvel trying to shoehorn in representation? It doesn't seem to be anticipated almost at all. Well, I wouldn't say that, Leroy. I feel like they wanted to get Daredevil and Kingpin in there right now, and that was the fastest way they could do it. And I think they didn't realize they were going to be backed up to the way that they are now. So I think that's kind of the situation that they find themselves in. So, I mean, I think that it's unfortunate for that actress that she's not just in the Daredevil show, which has 18 episodes and so much space. So, we'll see. Echo's in a bad position. I feel bad for it. Eden, I will definitely review Shadow and Bone Season 2. I'm excited. I got to ask for those screeners. Devin Pullen says, Grace, if it's a B+, I would drop, you mean Disney+? I would drop Echo and Ironheart as a binge for, no, I don't, I gotta tell you, Ironheart, I don't want to give any spoilers away, although I'm sure you've heard them. Ironheart has some good stuff in it. I wouldn't do that to Ironheart. And drop Loki and Secret Invasion weekly. Both to build buzz. I gotta tell you, Ironheart should be a weekly show based on what I've heard about that. Stephen, I haven't heard anything about Dune right now, I'm afraid. Oh, let's see here. Hani says, any tea on Ian McKellen being in Deadpool 3? I told you, the original Fox X-Men are coming back, baby. Deadpool 3 is going to definitely do that. Remember, it's got the TVA in it. Owen Wilson's in it. I don't know exactly for sure which X-Men are in it. And I got to tell you, a part of me doesn't want to know. I want to be surprised. I think there's a fine line with spoilers, as I've told you. And I feel like who's coming back is like where the line exists. So I told you that they're coming back. I'm almost tempted to tell you one person. Oh, but I can't do it. I just told you I wouldn't do it. So I know one person who's coming back, and it's not Ian McKellen. And I'm excited. All I'll say is that this person deserves justice. So I'm glad they're coming back. And I'm sure I gotta tell you, when it comes to Fox's X-Men, more than one person deserves justice. So I'm excited. I'm very excited. Because I love Fox's X-Men. I love them so much. Hey, J-Zone. Chic, thank you. That's very kind of you. Greg says, hi, Grace. I didn't get to tell you during yesterday's live stream about Gaga as Harley being a musical therapist, but I actually am a musical therapist myself, and I work in a psychiatric facility. Oh, well, Greg, you'll have to tell us if they get it right. Danny says, Grace, predictions for this weekend's box office. Well, Danny, I'm not quite sure which way it's going to go. I told you the line is at 100 million. If it's under 100 million, Marvel's going to start to sweat. If it's over 100 million, they're going to laugh all the way to the bank. I'm going to write that down for movie math. But I think that's what it's going to be. And so I'm really curious to see if Marvel fans what their answer is going to be. Oh, look, Big League Chew had the same question. I'm sorry you're late, Dory. Dancing Dog 60 says, Grace, Disney has the Black Hole franchise. Do you think they'll do a remake on Disney Plus? No, they got too much to do, Dancing Dog 60. Like, who even asked for the Black Hole to come back? Where was that other thing? I'm trying to do some non-super chats too, so hold on. Oh, look at all of you trying to guess who's coming back. I love it. I want to tell you so bad, but I can't. I just said I shouldn't do it. Let's see here. J-Zone, I did see the Tetris movie trailer and I tweeted about it. I already wrote them for a screener. I was like, you got to give me a screener for this movie. I got to review it. It's got all my favorite stuff in it, including Taron Egerton. Let's see here. Josh Loves Movie says, do you think Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania will perform at the box office? No, I don't think it'll be that big a flop. Danny says, Grace, was Scream spoiled for you? Yeah, a little bit, I'm afraid. I don't know exactly what the person was talking about. They responded to my tweet like an evil bastard. I was so upset about it. So I kind of know a little bit who it is. But I kind of forgot. So good. All right. Significant Otter says, who would you cast to support Zoe? Oh, Zoe Saldana? That's a good question. I think more important is who's directing it. That's real important. And I really also the production design. I want that thing to just throw up pirates. I don't want it to be too cheap. 20 million is very low. 20 million is so low. I'm scared. Nicholas says, hey, Grace, I know it's not a question, but I wanted to tell you that I'm really looking forward to the Scream 4 watch party. Yeah, we're going to do it. It's in my notes to set it up. Don't worry. Let's see here. There's a little bit of spoilers in here, guys. Be careful, please. Raul says, made it to the live. Thanks for making these videos easier to follow with keeping super chats on point. Some of us have to watch afterwards. Oh, it's my pleasure. I want to make sure everybody has a good time. Let's see here. Everybody wants the X-Men. Do you guys want me to tell you who it is? Oh, I can't do it. You're going to vote yes, for sure. A lot of you did guess correctly. Let's see here. So the person who's coming back's name is in the chat. That's as far as I'll go. Let's see here. Stephen Turner says, how much money does Little Mermaid need to make to be seen as a success? $1 billion. If it doesn't hit $1 billion, it's going to be bad. Justin Olivieri says, how do you feel about the Scream leak? I'm not talking about it. As I told you, I kind of forgot. Captain Marvel says, have you heard about anything about when we're getting at least a teaser trailer for the Marvels? Well, it's obviously not coming out with Quantumania, so and it comes out pretty soon. So probably maybe with Guardians of the Galaxy. Or, like think what are the big dates coming up and what are the big movies? Maybe like March is a big movie going month, so I think you're going to get a lot of great trailers in just a few weeks. March is big. Let's see here. Tiff, I did see the John Wick trailer. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I'm sorry I didn't react to it. I got to stop promising that I'm going to do stuff because sometimes my schedule gets messed up, but I'm trying to get back on schedule. And I wanted to just, sometimes I just miss something. And if it's not a huge deal, I just going to try and not fall too far behind. TJ Williams says, so instead of extra or set work, how do you feel is the best way of getting into Hollywood? I was thinking of doing extra work, but not so much now. Well, TJ, that's a great question. Everybody's path is different. So I love that quote that I say all the time is that when you find the path that's right for you, you'll find it's the path of least resistance. So I think it's better to say that you want to work in Hollywood and don't get too married to any particular role. So there's exciting things to do in front of and behind the camera. There's exciting things to do on set. There's exciting things to do at the studio. So there's all kinds of things that you could do. So what I would think is that you should try to get an internship or an entry-level position at a place that you're interested in. If you want to be talent, you got to get representation, and the best way to get representation is through competitions and showcases, but you may have to make sure they're legit because there are a lot of people who are just trying to take your money. So you got to be really careful. As told by Alex says, Alex works in Hollywood. Alex, right? I believe I'm getting the right person, right? I try to match your Twitter with your YouTube pictures. I believe Alex works in hair and makeup, very successfully, I might add. Halle Berry's Storm, I'm not telling you who it is. I'm not telling you who it is. Michael Wiggins says, do you think Guardians 3 will be good? Where'd that go? Where'd it go? Everybody wants to know who it is. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. That's funny, Jay, that you can't think of a good question. That's very nice of you, though. Thank you. Oh, Juan, I'll get to you in a moment. That's very kind of you, Juan. I know you're in school right now. Hold on. Michael says, do you think Guardians 3 will be good? I'm worried James Gunn rushed it to start DC. I don't know. The trailer looks pretty good to me. I think the only problem is that everybody's already moved on to James Gunn in his DC era, and I think that could potentially harm Guardians. I also think he really messed up on Adam Warlock. I mean, we'll see, but I think he didn't do a good job on Adam Warlock from what we've seen so far. H2 says, what if Disney changes their lineup by having Agatha at 8 and Loki at 9 on Thursdays? Like a whole programming block? That's a funny idea. And Secret Invasion at 9 on Fridays. They could try and double up with days. They could do that, H2s. They could do that. I think that would work. I think the same day is really a problem. I'm glad you like my shirt, Mad Queen Danny. Whelmed says, yesterday was my birthday. Oh, happy birthday, Whelmed. I'm celebrating by seeing Quantum Majors. That's funny for Jonathan Majors. That's funny. There's a lot of Kang in the movie. You'll be very happy. Let's see here. Let's see here. Juan says, Grace, I did my first stall on a plane, which is turning off the engine and falling down. It was so fun and scary. Is it like in a real plane or in the simulator? Yes, I'm glad your flight school training is going well, Juan. Jico says, Grace, when is the Tiana and Moana TV shows coming back? Oh, it's going to be a while. That's the animated Disney Plus series. I hear that's going to be a long time because they have to animate them, and they're animating them out of a new facility in Vancouver, I believe. So that's not being done at traditional Disney animation. But I think I'm really excited for the Tiana show in particular. Brian says, hey, Grace, any DC news? Saw the Japanese trailer for Shazam, and it appears Gal shows up for Wonder Woman as a bit. Let's see. Shazam tickets officially went on sale today. But I'm not sure how Shazam is going to do. But everyone got excited about Flash, so let's see. Danny, I don't know who they've cast as the new Sue Storm yet, but Jodie Comer has taken plenty of meetings. Oh, by the way, okay, I'll give you some tea. Danny inspired me. Jodie Comer did get a big franchise, but it's not Marvel or DC. Ha 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 ha. And it's one they already tried to bring back with Ryan Gosling, and that's all I'll say. You can pretty much guess it from that. But that's that's my covering myself there. So that's what Jodie Comer is up to, and I love Jodie Comer. So Jodie Comer supremacy. Baby Bear says, I would love to see a movie where Elizabeth Olsen's Wanda fights Famke Janssen's Dark Phoenix. Well, that would be Secret Wars if they're going to do that. Chris says, do you think any of these new upcoming Marvel shows can live up to the hype of WandaVision? Yes, well, obviously, Agatha. I think Ironheart could actually be pretty darn good, quite frankly. I think Loki Season 2 is going to be incredible. If you've seen Quantumania, you know what I'm talking about. I like your comment, Joseph. Clothes for Mystique. I agree. Let's see here. Oh, Abel got a membership. Oh, Abel, I like your enthusiasm. That's so cute. Let's see here. Catching up here. Catching up. Juan says, do you think there's still time to fix the Little Mermaid VFX? I do not. I'm afraid not. I think there's a very good chance this is what it's going to look like. I don't want to be too quick to judge it, though, which is why I didn't do a traditional trailer reaction and breakdown yesterday. Let's see a full trailer. Remember how worried we were about Aladdin, and then we were like, this movie's great. So I hope that's the same situation. Kyle of the Beard says, thoughts on Paramount hitting 77 million subs. 56. Where are the other subs on? I have to tell you, I like Paramount Plus. Steve Music, I'm glad you're enjoying the stream today. That's very nice. Let's see if anybody guessed the Jodie Comer thing. I'm catching up to you guys. Thanks, Gorilla My Dreams. I'm really behind here. Oscar Medrano says, I see Scream tracking to open at 37 million. Do you think that's a good opening? I think so. I'm glad. I'm excited for Scream. I'm actually very excited for Scream. You know who's done it? Scream fans. Your enthusiasm on social media is so great, it's infectious. I'm like, you know what? I am pretty excited for this. David says, I think it's, I'm not telling you who it is. But it's going to be a number of people. But I just heard of one person for sure who was taking meetings. I don't even know if they signed up. Dancing Doug 60 says, imagine how great it would have been to walk into Spider-Man No Way Home and not know about any of the cameos. Yeah, I was talking about that to someone in the industry the other day about how you could never make Usual Suspects today because everyone would ruin who Kaiser Soze was. And I felt bad about that too. So I'm trying to but the thing is not if everybody doesn't get on the same page, what are you going to do about it? So, but I think the Scream thing's pretty egregious. Once the movie is done and starts screening for people, you can't ruin that. I mean, I think we held pretty good on the original press viewing of Quantumania held pretty strong. But once it went to general press, some people leaked, which was uncool. Let's see here. Alexander Wilson says, well, Quantumania outgrows Ant-Man and the Wasp. Let's see the opening weekend. I'm pretty nervous about it. Nuno says, what are your thoughts about the Love and Death trailer? That's the new Elizabeth Olsen Max original. I'd heard they were going to Max. A couple of other people heard about Max. And that's true. I think that the problem is that Jessica Biel already did Candy. That was the same story. But I do like Jesse Plemons, so I'm pretty excited about that. You guys guessed the Jodie Comer thing. Nice work. The Foreign Fool gifted another 5 memberships. So kind of you. So kind. Oh, let's see here. Caleb, I'm not sure when we're going to get a Dune 2-part trailer. I think they're still filming, right? Justin Olivieri says, what I mean, does the leak frustrate you that someone put it out there that they have to get? Yeah, I think the Scream leak is really egregious. I think, like, that's really bad. That's not even an end credit scene. To reveal who the killers are in Scream, I think is really a horrible thing to do. 80s model, I got Gotham Knights screeners, but I didn't even crack them open because it's just a waste of my time. Thanks, Garbage Girl. I like that you like, I just like The Matrix. Thank you. That's what I was going for. And by the way, I love your avatar. Pink hair is very cool. I would love to have like pink or blue hair. I would love that. It would make me so happy. Let's see here. Nobody spoil Scream. Let's see here. Sheik says, how worried should we be for the Marvels? Because I'm super excited for it. I heard the trailer from the conventions was amazing. I heard it was amazing. So I'm excited to see it. But I know the movie's also very silly. Let's see here. Did I miss any other super chats? Philip says, where is Wanda? Sorry, I had to do it. I'm with you. Paul says, you've heard anything about a possible Mummy 4? I don't think they're going to do a Mummy 4. Let's see. All right, let me ask some non-super chats there. Stephen says, Nev Campbell's probably laughing at the Scream leak. Maybe she did it. Maybe she did it. Let's see here. Evan, I'm glad you made the stream. Oh, they did finish filming Dune 2? That's great. Damon, I don't know what's going on with the Jon Snow series. I mean, I don't really know if I even want it, quite frankly. I'm very happy with House of the Dragon. Let's just focus on getting that out, quite frankly. I agree, Manny. I think that Max is not a great name for the streaming service. You know what they should just call it? For sale. They're like, who wants to buy this? That's what I would say. That would be so funny. A for sale original. Would you like this? Would you like this to be streaming for your company? Give us an offer. Discovery. We need money. Alexander Wilson says, I know somebody that has seen the first episode of Secret Invasion and he said it was amazing. I mean, the trailer looks incredible. Agreed. I'm glad you guys like my for sale joke. Let's see here. Damani says, Grace, what comics did you get this week? Well, if you follow me as a super follower, or now it's called a subscriber on Twitter, I publish my comic book list every week. But I will tell you one that I got. I got Betty, Final Girl, with Betty in a horror story set in Riverdale where she's the last one alive. It sounds so great. I loved it. I tweeted about that. Super Extrovert must follow me as a super follower subscriber because they know that I did that. Mish says, do you ship Yelena and Bucky? I sure do, Mish. I sure do. Some people are talking about Yelena Belova being an asexual character. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to disregard that representation in the comics, but I mean, I don't know how big of a thing that was. So I think that's tough. I would like her to be with Bucky, quite frankly, because I think that the Bucky Black Widow relationship is such a big deal. Mr. Poppy, thank you. But I'd have to have pink hair in all my videos. I'd rather have a wig, quite frankly. So maybe I could buy a wig. But then I think that would be distracting. If I was doing videos in a wig, you guys would be like, what are you doing, Grace? I don't know. Should I have a poll? Should I do videos in wigs? It would be like changing my shirts. That's funny. I don't know if you could take me that seriously. Hilarious. Maybe for Halloween next year or something like that. Steven says, I got the Jodie Comer tea, right? She's in the Blade Runner series. She's worked with Ridley twice now. Last Duel and Napoleon. Oh, no comment, Steven, but that's a pretty interesting way to put it. I cannot confirm or deny the obvious story that I kind of told you but didn't quite tell you. Let's see here. Devin says, if Ironheart is that important, I would not sit on it. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Everybody knows the cameo. I mean, come on, like, just put this out already, man. Just put it out. Chloe has volunteered to be Bucky's love interest. That's pretty funny, Chloe. Thanks, Gorilla My Dreams. All right, let me do some shout outs. It's 4:59. I think we've answered a lot of questions. Anna says, try semi-permanent color conditioner in pink. That would get all over my clothes and my sheets, though. I would worry about that. Now we're just in hair suggestions. I appreciate your enthusiasm, though. I appreciate your enthusiasm. I did quite love my wig collection. They were great. I miss them. All right, so on that somewhat sad note, let's do shout-outs. Where are you? What are you doing? Let me just say hi to you. What's going on? Let me say hi. How's it going? It feels like Friday, but it's only Thursday. I didn't see any Henry Cavill news, Mandy. I'll have to go and look it up. Kelsey's eating pretzels. Mark's in San Fran, like Scott Lang. Jorge volunteers for a shout-out and got one. Toby says, will you go back to the salon? I don't know. I'm saving a lot of money doing my own hair, I got to tell you. And saving money is pretty addictive. They're like, wow, I like saving that money, boy. Let's see here. Danny says, hoping you buy wigs in Chicago. That's pretty funny. Matt coming at you as always with a cup of coffee from Michigan. Hey, Matt. Trisha says, watching Shameless and eating Whole Foods mac and cheese. Oh, that stuff's delicious. That stuff is delicious. I was in Whole Foods this morning, actually. I got a lot of really good, healthy food. I was very proud of myself. Rob Wall says, I'm sitting trying to convince friends who are put off by Quantumania's bad reviews to go and see it. Tell them not to be party poopers. What else are you guys going to do this weekend? Let's see here. Philip says, in Poland, there was, what's National Donut Day? Tess says, I've been subbed since 2013. Oh, thanks, Tess. First month as a member after someone kindly gifted a sub in yesterday's stream. Even subbed to Think About the Ink and BTT Disney. You are an OG, Tess. You are an OG. I really appreciate that. I'm so glad you're here. That's wonderful. Jeff says, also in New York City, across from Bryant Park and the library, deep in work. Oh, that's a great area. I love that area. Let's see here. Chris is watching Star Trek Voyager in Texas. I love it. Oh, Juan is in Paraguay. Let's see here. Don't want to miss anybody there. Danny says, Grace, do you like Hudson Yards? I miss the Neiman Marcus there. It's just really become a food court. Although the Warner Brothers offices are there and they have the most beautiful screening rooms. They're so gorgeous. I love them. Marduk said it binged Invincible in a single day. Oh, that sounds like a good day. Rob Wall says, I have one main argument for getting my friends to go. Kang! Tell them the end credit sequences. You got to see those things to believe them. Let's see here. Guto Ruiz says, watching you from Brazil, where'd that go, and having some green tea while it's a torrential downpour. Oh, I love when it rains like that. I have the Calm app, and my favorite thing to listen to when falling asleep is either rain or from the Jurassic World compound. That's a good scene, soundscape. Abuka Nuabi, thank you so much. That's so generous of you. Hey, Grace, love your show and been a fan since 2013. Nigerian living in Edinburgh, Scotland, and my wife is a fan as well. Oh, hello to both of you. Just finished my second job. Good for you, Abuka. Good for you. And was lucky to catch your live stream. Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool. And that's so great that you and your wife enjoy my videos together. That makes me feel so nice. Let's see here. Marcus is watching House MD in Milan. Seriously considering med school now. You guys know my house story, right? I used to have a big mold problem, as you know, and I worked very hard to save my clothes, which all got destroyed. All of my belongings got destroyed. It made me very immaterial because I was like, who knows how? Because, of course, I took all my favorite possessions. It was my first major house out from home, and I took all my possessions that I loved and, of course, put them in this apartment, and I lost all of them. All my favorite stuffed animals from when I was a child, everything. It was horrible. So I was trying to save this stuff, and I was watching House, and I was like, just cut off the leg. You gave it your best. It's not working. You're still a difficult person. Just cut it off. And I was like, if I would tell someone to cut off their leg, I can throw away my stuff. So I love that series, and it will always have a special place in my heart for that reason. Damon says, my boyfriend loves watching compilations of your funniest moments. He thinks you're hilarious. That makes me feel very nice. Tell your boyfriend thank you, Damon. That's right, Danny. I lost all my wigs. I had a great wig collection. They're gone. There used to be a place in New York called Ricky's where you could buy wigs really cheap, and they were wonderful. But they're gone, too. They're also gone. Lewis says, I tweeted you the 4K Little Mermaid teaser. Oh, I saw that you did that, Lewis, but I'm having a hard time believing it looks any better. Mish says, it's 12 a.m. I'm doing some work to have an easier Friday. I've been there, but I'm trying not to do that too much because it makes me stay up too late, and then I get up late, and then I don't, that's my schedule problem. I'm trying to have a good sleep schedule. But I've been where you are. I've done that a lot. Alawatch says, getting ready to watch the old Batman and Superman movies with my DC blankie. Oh, that's the one that you sent me, Alawatch? Oh, that's great. Okay, now I can link your name here and on Twitter. That was a great blanket. I actually looked that up on the DC store. I have a friend who's probably watching this live stream, and I just ruined the gift I want to get them. But it's so far from getting a gift, you know? So I was like, I know somebody who would love this. All right, I better get going and working on that Ant-Man spoiler review. I had such a great time with you as always. It's only Thursday, so I'll see you tomorrow. We will do a live stream tomorrow as well, because there are 3 live streams a week, and I've only done 2. All right, everybody, see you then. And lots of Ant-Man spoiler videos, of course, coming. Okay, bye, everybody. Bye. Bye-bye. Toodles.